In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about my favorites, least favorites, all of that. We're going to dish some dirt from the Real Housewives franchise on Bravo TV. So I'm assuming if you clicked on this video, you have actually watched some of these shows, and so you're going to be interested in this. So there are going to be some, I want to tell you right now, I want to warn you that I'm not going to talk about it all. That way you won't watch the video and think, well, why didn't she bring up this one? I'm going to warn you. I have never watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I've never watched Potomac, and Bravo is really, really bad about repeating these shows. So like, I would like to watch Atlanta from the beginning. It's not on Bravo. So anyway, I won't be bringing up those two. The Real Housewives of Dallas, I'm not going to bring that up because it was so short-lived. I'm also not going to talk about the Real Housewives of Miami just because I really did not like it. I didn't care. I did not, you know, usually you're able to connect with some of the ladies, or you really like certain ladies. I didn't get that vibe from the Real Housewives of Miami, so I'm not going to be bringing them up at all. There's going to be two others that I'm going to just briefly mention, and I'm going to mention those first because not everyone, I think they're lesser known in the United States. And those are the Real Housewives of Maryland, the Real Housewives of Melbourne, and Ladies of London. I know a lot of people have watched Ladies of London, but not everyone has watched Melbourne. So I'm just going to be talking about those two briefly, and then we'll get on to the other ones. And I wanted to say too, you know, these opinions that I have are coming from, I am going by the way that I see the ladies being portrayed on TV. It might not be their real personality, or Bravo might be cutting the clips in a certain way to make them look a certain way, but I'm going by what I have been shown on TV. So this is just my true opinion, and this is coming from someone who is actually a Real Housewife. I've been a Real Housewife for years. Cooking and cleaning and taking kids to school and taking care of them, not having a babysitter, not having a nanny, an actual Real Housewife. So, so anyway, I want to get that out of the way too. So the first group of ladies that I want to talk about are, and I have pictures, the Real Housewives of Melbourne. And like I said, I'm just going to touch on them briefly because not everyone in the United States is familiar with all of these ladies. This show in my area was shown on like Saturday afternoons. So if you tuned into Bravo like on a Saturday afternoon, you could see the Real Housewives of Melbourne. And so I would record them because I would never remember to watch on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, who would? So I would record them and watch them like when I was working out in the morning or something like that. So if you didn't see them, that's probably wise, because I don't know why they picked such a horrible time to show this, to air the show, but they did. So I'm, like I said, going to be very brief about these ladies. My favorite lady on the show is Chica. And Chica's my favorite just because she, to me, is the most down to earth, and she's the most relatable. My least favorite is Petty Fleur. I think Petty Fleur thinks very, very highly of herself. I think she's very wrapped up in Petty Fleur. So for that reason, I did not like her. My favorite house was Chica's house. I think she has since sold it though. It was the one that was located at, I think it's called Wattletree Road in Malvern East. That was my favorite house. And the prettiest, I think the prettiest one on the show is Lydia. I think Lydia, just for me, she was the most attractive lady. So now I want to move on to the Ladies of London, LOL. The Ladies of London, and my favorite is Caroline Fleming, and she is this one. It's hard to point at them because they're all so thin. Caroline Fleming is my favorite. I don't know. I like her personality. I just thought she had a great personality. I think she's very relatable, even though she's very well known and very wealthy. She's just still stayed a relatable person, and she seems very authentic to me. My least favorite is Juliet, and Juliet is actually was actually an American who moved there. So I just did not care for Juliet's personality. My favorite house when she was on the show was Marissa. She is in the white right here. Marissa had my favorite house. And so I don't know if they're going to do Ladies of London for another season. I know that Carolyn Stansberry has moved to Dubai, and Marissa actually moved back to the United States. She actually moved back to California. And apparently she's very, very happy, but I don't know why she would do that. Because she had a great life there. She actually became... she took her citizenship test and everything and passed, and I don't know why you would give all that up and then move back, do that and give all that up to move back here. I don't understand. But I don't know what the future holds for the Ladies of London, just because those two ladies were, I thought, a big part of the show, and they've moved. So they've moved on. So I don't know where that show is headed. So now I want to talk about the Real Housewives of Dallas. Let's talk about the Real Housewives of Dallas. I think the trashiest person on the show is Brandy. And she is the redhead, and she was actually a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, and I'm sure the franchise is probably embarrassed of her saying that and being on the show, because she comes across as extremely trashy. I think the prettiest on the show is Carrie. Carrie is the prettiest, and Carrie, I think Carrie knows how beautiful her body is, but you have to admit, yeah, she knows it, but you have to admit she really does have a beautiful body from head to toe. She just has it all. I mean, she's what every woman would like to look like, and they can't, you know, would be Carrie. The most untrustworthy, I would say, is Leanne, the one right here, Leanne Locken. I think she's the most untrustworthy. The most out of touch with reality would be Cameron. Cameron created a pink dog food. Cameron is like, Cameron is just, she's completely out of touch. I think sometimes you say people have more money than they know what to do with. I think they have more money than what they know to do with. That's just, that's how they come across. And the heaviest makeup award would go to Deandra. She reminds me of Tammy Faye Baker. She and her mother wear so much makeup. It is unreal. It doesn't look good. If it looked good, it would be one thing. But it is so heavy on the eyes that it's not a good look. And a lot of these ladies wear these fake eyelashes all the time. And fake eyelashes, I think, can accentuate, but they can also... They can look heavy, and I think sometimes the ladies wear them too long, and so they're not accentuating things. They're taken away. You know, they're detracting. So that's my Real Housewives of Dallas. I really didn't have anything positive to say about them except for Carrie's looks. I don't really have much positivity to say about that particular franchise. Now we'll go to the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And the only one not included in the picture was Margaret. And this is just the picture I pulled off the internet. I don't know why Margaret's not in here. Margaret's the blonde with the pigtails, and so maybe she wasn't considered one of the featured wives or something. Maybe that's why she's not in the picture. But so we're just gonna talk, we'll go by oh, and I know that next season Siggy's not coming back next season, so I don't know if Dolores will come back, because like Dolores and Siggy seem like they're like a pair. So Siggy's not coming back. I guess she didn't like all the negative attention that was brought her way. She well, we'll talk about her in a minute. Well, no, I didn't put her down. I did not care for Siggy. So she did not come across as a positive person to me. She seems like she thinks a lot more of herself than what she is. I just did not think that the show portrayed her in a positive light at all. My favorite from this season, from these ladies, and we'll include Margaret in here, is Teresa. My least favorite is Margaret. Even though I didn't care for Siggy, I cared for Margaret even less. So I could care less if I ever saw Margaret on the show again. My least favorite secondary character, so not pictured here, but somebody that shows up on the show every once in a while, would be Kim D. I don't even like it when they add her in the show. I don't think she should be on the show at all. The only reason they put her on there is to add some drama and a storyline. There's no reason for them to show her. I think if I would like to see a housewife make a comeback, somebody that's been on the show, Real Housewives of New Jersey in the past, I would like to see them again, would be Caroline Manzo. I like Caroline. My favorite ever on the show. So like out of all the housewives they've had, my favorite has been Caroline Manzo. And my favorite house from this season is Siggy's house. So even though I don't care for Siggy, I like her house. So that's a positive about Siggy. But I would never like go to one of her, like she gave these talks and people pay to listen to her, and people pay to like buy her book and to listen to her advice. I would never take her advice. I mean, she called out one of the other ladies in the crowd for arguing with her, and I would never listen to her, because I think that was wrong for her to do that. Anyway, we won't get into storylines, because I would be here, this video would be so long if I got into the storylines on each of these shows. So I'm not even doing that, as you see. Okay, the next one is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And so we're gonna go out of these ladies. My favorite is Lisa Vanderpump, which she is right here in the middle. I think Lisa is incredibly wealthy, but I love her wit and I love her sense of humor. Even though she is wealthy, I think she is still down to earth and relatable. I think where she owns restaurants and she actually goes in there and she actually meets with people, and you know, she's doing a lot of work with dogs, with animals, and I think she is in touch with the regular folk more than a lot of the other ladies are, and so I think that makes her relatable. My least favorite, and you all are not gonna like this. Yeah, I know I have a friend who loves her. You're not gonna like my answer. My least favorite is Erica Jane. Erica Girardi. I think she is cold. I think if you watch, all you have to do to know how Erica is watch the reunion show. Watch the reunion, and if you watched it and you weren't watching her closely enough, watch it again. She is cold, which to me, she's cold in every episode. She is rigid. She's like a doll. Literally, you could have set a doll down in the place of her and it would have given you as much passion, that doll, is what she gave during that reunion show and what she gives on every show. She Her face she like never wants you to see anything that she's feeling, and she always has this like neutral look, and I just think she's very, very unrelatable, very cold. And she says that, she has said before something like, how has she said it? That like she doesn't trust other women, or there's a reason, is because other women, they need some emotion, they need some passion, they need more from you than for you to just sit there. And Andy would ask her a question, or somebody else would just say something to her, and she would just give this well, of course. And I mean, it was just attitude. It's constant attitude from her. It would be like living with a teenager for the rest of time as far as the responses you get back. It's always attitude. It's never a good, warm attitude either. It's always just a negativity. It's just, I think she gives off a lot of negativity. And I know y'all aren't going to agree with that, but whatever. Leave in the comments. My favorite secondary character, so she's not pictured here, but they showed her a lot this season, was Camille. I love Camille. I would like to see Camille in the picture. I like Camille a lot. And I think there have been times that she has not been my favorite. Camille hasn't, but I really like her. I really do like her. My least favorite secondary character. So these are ladies that weren't necessarily on the show this season, but just on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in general. I did not and will never like Faye Resnick. I do not like her. She's another one of those that she just gives off this air of, I'm better than you and I don't care anything about you, and just the looks, the eye rolls that she gives, and yeah, you just have to watch her for a few minutes and you'll see the attitude that I'm talking about. I did not like her, and I did not like Eden Sassoon. When Eden Sassoon was on the show, I just thought Eden was there to, it just seemed like she was always trying to stir up a little bit just so that she would be relevant on the show. I thought she was a very beautiful girl, but she seemed kind of like a few fry short, you know, she just seemed not all there. My least favorite housewife ever on the show was Carlton. I just did not like Carlton. And you probably won't remember her. You'll have to look her up because she was only on there for, I think, for one season. My favorite house is Kyle's old house. So before she moved to Encino, the house that she always talked about, that she said I would drive past it and I always wanted it, I always wanted to live there, that was my favorite house, and she sold it. Who would I like to see make a comeback? Yolanda. I really liked Yolanda. I think she was good to have on the show. I just liked her. And then I did get a couple of specific questions about this season, so I'm going to answer these. If I had gotten specific questions about the other seasons, I would have answered those. But we, during one of our live shows on Wednesday, Dinner with the Duns, if you've ever watched that, I was asked a couple of specific questions, so I want to answer them here. Am I on Teddy's side or Dorit's? And I'm wondering if this had to do with the time issue. Teddy and Dorit were supposed to meet at a certain time. Dorit was like an hour late, and I thought it was ridiculous. I would not have waited an hour. There's no way. When it got to be half an hour, and that would have been pushing it. When it got to be half an hour, I would have left, and I would have called Dorit and said, sorry, I had to leave, or I am leaving. You know, there's just no way I would have put up with that. I thought Teddy totally should have called Dorit and gone home. And Dorit, I think, is very disrespectful of everyone's time. She has been late several times during the season. I just think she just doesn't care. She's at home and she's working on her swimsuit line, or she's in the middle of whatever, and she thinks, oh, they'll wait. And Teddy did wait, and so she shouldn't have waited, because that just made her bitter. Instead, she, you know, if she had gone home and called Dorit and said, hey, we'll have to meet some other time, maybe she wouldn't have been as bitter later on if she hadn't have, you know, she wasted her own time waiting for an hour. Do I think Lisa Vanderpump holds Kyle to a higher standard than Dorit? I do think Lisa Vanderpump holds Kyle to a higher standard than she does Dorit, but I also think it's because Kyle is I think Kyle is a true lifelong friend to Lisa Vanderpump. I think when you have a friend that you know this person's going to be in your life forever. It's not just we're together for the show. You know, we're going to do this show, even if we do 4 seasons or whatever of this show together. We're on this show, but we're not going to be lifelong friends. So I like you, but I'm not invested in you, and I'm not going to hold you to a higher standard because, you know, I care about you, but I don't really care about you. I think Lisa Vanderpump really cares about Kyle. I think she cares about Kyle. I think she loves Kyle. I think she wants Kyle to be in her life forever. And I think Kyle and Lisa are true forever friends. Unlike Lisa and Dorit. I don't think Dorit is going to be in Lisa's life forever. So she doesn't hold her to a higher standard. Next, we have the Real Housewives of New York City. These are the ladies we're going to be talking about. My favorite, I'm sure these I will surprise some of you. My favorite is, gosh, this is so close. I love Bethany. I really do. I think Bethany is sharp. I think Bethany has a sharp, you know what, I'm going to say Bethany. I'm not even going to say who I was going to say. Because it's Bethany. I admire Bethany. Bethany is extremely intelligent. She has a sharp wit about her. She has a very large vocabulary. I'm attracted to intelligence, and I think Bethany has it. And Bethany has so many companies right now, and she is doing so much. She's just, not just companies, but she has been helping with the flood relief, and she's just a go-getter. She doesn't stop, and you don't hear her complain. She never complains that, you know, she could complain. She could complain that she's tired and all that, and she doesn't. You don't hear her complain about anything. And she's out there getting her hands dirty. She's not just talking about it, she's doing things. And so I'm going to say my favorite is Bethany. My least favorite, and has always been, and I know some of you won't agree, Ramona. I don't care for Ramona. Ramona is, as far as what we've seen, Ramona seems completely out of touch with reality. I think Ramona seems all about Ramona. She always has. She's always come across as self-indulgent, and especially when they go on holiday somewhere and she has to have the first room, and you know, she and Sonia have to room together, and she doesn't want to go to the Berkshires, and she, oh, we don't have air conditioning. I'm pretty sure that was her too, or was that Sonia? Anyway, it was one of them. I just do not care for Ramona at all. And that's not even talking about her drinking, which I won't, but I think she overindulges in a lot of things. My least favorite ever, which she's not pictured here, the least favorite housewife ever on New York was Jules. I did not care for Jules one bit, not one bit. And I knew she she was hiding some things, and it came out later that she was having trouble with some things, and she was trying to hide it during the show, and I did not like Jules. It was clear to me the issue she was having on the show. Who would I like to see make a comeback? I would like to see Jill Zarin make a comeback. I think Jill has been gone. I think they've punished Jill long enough. Jill has been punished, you know, and so I think it's time to bring her back. And I think the only reason they haven't brought her back is because of Bethany. And I think Bethany needs to, I think Bethany should get over that and tell Andy, okay, I'm ready to have Jill back on the show. I think they need to give her another shot. My favorite apartment would belong to Sonia in New York. As far as in New York, an apartment is Sonia's, because I just think it's awesome. I think everything about it is awesome. And as far as a house, I like Luann's house in the Hamptons. So I know several of the ladies have houses in the Hamptons, including Bethany, but I like Luann's. And the trashiest on this franchise for this season, I think, is Sonia. I think Sonia is very trashy. So, the last one we're going to talk about is the OC, Real Housewives of Orange County. And this is the one that started it all. I'm pretty sure that Peggy has said that she was not coming back next season. I'm thinking I read that correctly, that she's not coming back next season. So, where was okay, my favorite from this season is Vicky. And I would not have said that on several seasons. I would not have said that, but Vicky would be my favorite right now. She's been my favorite for the past few seasons, and I do think she's a very hard worker. I think she's a go-getter. The only problem that I have with Vicky, I do not like, it seems like she pressures the women to drink when they don't want to drink, and I don't like that. Like when they go on vacation, it seems like she's like, well, we're gonna whoop it up, and that's fine if you want to do that and if you want to drink, but then she seems to really lay on the pressure if they don't want to drink. I'm just not that kind of person. If I tell you no, I mean no. So I don't like that, but I do, overall, I like Vicky. My least favorite this season, and she has been for several seasons, is Kelly. I do not like Kelly. I think Kelly, I just don't like her. I think she's trashy. Yeah, I just think Kelly, she just seems trashy to me. Who I would like to see make a comeback is Gretchen Rossi. There have been times that I haven't cared for Gretchen, but I like Gretchen. I like her dynamic with Slade, and she has her hands into a lot of different businesses, and she's a hard worker. I think she's a go-getter. I think she wants to keep her name relevant, and she wants to stay out there, and she wants to make money, and I really like that about Gretchen. My least favorite ever on Orange County ever is Tamara. I think Tamara is the trashiest of the trashy. That's what I think. I think she is extremely trashy, so I don't enjoy watching her at all. My favorite house out of all the ladies would be Vicky's. I liked Vicky's kitchen. This is going to sound awful. I liked Vicky's kitchen before she redid it. She actually remodeled her kitchen, and I don't know, I just liked it better before she remodeled, but I'm sure she's happier with it now, but that's just my opinion. My favorite secondary character that they've had on there has been Brianna, Vicky's daughter. I like her. I like seeing Brianna and her husband, and then I think she just has 2 kids. I don't think she's had 3. I think she just has 2 boys. But I really like seeing Brianna, and I like to see the dynamic between Vicky and Brianna, you know, that daughter, that mother-daughter relationship, and then you bring the Brianna's husband into it, so you have that son-in-law in there, and it's just interesting to see that story. I like that. Okay, so then I wanted to talk about the ladies. I wanted to talk about some husbands, and I wanted to bring this to your all's attention. I don't know if you realize this or not, but not one of the ladies on New York is married. Not one of them. It was surprising to me when I was going through the names. It was like, okay, Ramona is divorced. Dorinda's husband is deceased. Luann is divorced. Bethany is divorced. Carol's husband died. He's deceased. Tinsley is divorced, and Sonia's divorced. So that just really surprised me that none of them are married. But I thought we would talk about the husbands for a minute, and I can tell you who I think, not that it matters at all, but I can tell you who I thought was the best looking husbands from each show. I'm not going to talk about Orange County at all because I don't find any of them attractive. New York, like I said, is not married. My favorite on Beverly Hills is who I think is the best looking from Kyle, Teddy, Lisa, Erica, all of them are married on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, every one of them. So out of all the husbands I could choose from, I think Tom is the best looking. Tom is Erica's husband, and even though I don't like Erica, I think he is the best looking to me. On the Real Housewives of New Jersey, you have Jacqueline, Teresa, Melissa, and Siggy's husbands to choose from. I think Jacqueline's husband is the best looking. Chris Loretta, I think he's the best looking. And the Real Housewives of Dallas, they're all married as far as I know, except for Leanne Locken. I don't think she's gotten married yet. I know she was engaged. I don't think she's got married yet. So I'm going to say the best looking is Mark. Carrie's husband, Mark. I think he's the best looking. And then, very, very quickly, someone asked me my favorite tagline. And my favorite tagline would be Carolyn Manzo from season 4. She said, "Life is short. I have no time for drama." I thought hers was really good. And then someone asked me what my tagline would be. So it took me a little while to think of what my tagline would be. Okay, should I get ready? Do I have to look nice to give my tagline? I wear glasses, so I have to keep the glasses on. Should I do something with my hair if I'm gonna give my, okay. Okay, are you all ready? Here we go. I may not own diamonds, but I'll always be the jewel of Kentucky. Was that good? I may not own diamonds, but I'll always be the jewel of Kentucky. I have to practice that. Of course, those ladies are always standing up. They're always standing there like this. I may not own diamonds, but I'll always be the jewel of Kentucky. Okay, so that's the craziness that is Tammy. So I hope you all have enjoyed this video. I know it has been a very, very long one. I know that you're not going to agree with my opinion. I know that somebody probably loves Ramona. You know, you probably think she's the best thing since sliced bread and turtle time and all that. I just, you know, these are just my opinions and the way that I perceive the show, the way that I internalize it, you know. So this is just my opinion. I hope you all liked it. If you have any comments, leave them below, but be nice to me, and I will catch you next time.